Good morning from sunny Southern California once again. It's another beautiful day, and we got a lot of things to cover in today's show. I want to shoot from the hip today, no script, nothing like that, but I just wanted to look at the standings really quickly here. You might have noticed there was a big victory yesterday, or this last game period, as the Carolina Copperheads were the first team to defeat the San Francisco Warriors. And a very impressive showing by the Copperheads. And finally, the Warriors have been beaten. So nice. We've got that one under our belt. I'll go over the hot players from last night. And just bear with me here as I pull up all the stats. And I always go back just one day here. As you can see, Nikola Jokic was the #1 scorer from yesterday's games with 51 fantasy points. He was followed up by Joel Embiid from the Saints. By the way, Carolina has Nikola Jokic, and he was a big part of their win over the Warriors. Joel Embiid with 38 fantasy points, 39 when rounded up in 33 minutes. Solid performance there. Tyrese Halliburton of Guardians comes in third place from yesterday, 36 fantasy points in 37 minutes. Anthony Davis of the Lakers with 33 points in 41 minutes. Tyrese Maxey, 31 points. He is with Philadelphia. He played 39 minutes. Bam Adebayo with another big game, 34 minutes, 31 fantasy points. Karl Anthony Towns here with 30 fantasy points in 37 minutes. Kyrie Irving, 29 points in 29 minutes. You can look at the stats down here as well on these guys. Kyrie Irving, let's see here on the offense. There we have it. Okay, Kyrie Irving, 29 minutes of play, 20 field goal attempts, 35 points, 1 offensive board, 5 defensive, 7 rebounds, 7 assists rather, no steals, 1 block, just 1 turnover. Kyrie is back with the big game. LaMelo Ball of the Carolina Copperheads comes in with 28 fantasy points in 33 minutes. Bismack Biyombo, a free agent. I wonder if he'll be picked up today. He comes in 10th, 28 points in 36 minutes. So I kind of flew through that thing. I didn't really go over the numbers too much in detail. You guys can look into it for yourself because I have a few things to cover today. A little bit of the box scores, but a few other things as well. Let's look at the top rookie performances from yesterday as well. We've got Bilal Coulibaly, I guess it is. He had 23 fantasy points in 34 minutes. He plays with the Detroit Pistons in this league. That is the Fort Wayne Pistons anyways. Asar Thompson of Carolina, again. Carolina with a big week as they beat the Warriors. 22 points from Asar Thompson, 32 fantasy minutes, real-life minutes. Chet Holmgren of the Warriors, 18 fantasy points, 33 minutes. Jaime Jaquez of Denver with 32 minutes of play, 15 fantasy points. Victor Wembanyama coming in with 13 fantasy points in 34 minutes for Denver. Carolina Copperheads with another hot rookie, 9 points for Marcus Sasser in 20 minutes of play. Brandon Miller of the Suns, 10 minutes, 8 fantasy points. And look at there, Portland's Reith Duop from the Poway Eagles showed up. I didn't know if this guy was going to make it to the big leagues here. 8 points in 14 minutes. Solid game there. And Kamara Tumani of Phoenix, 7 points in 24 minutes. Very active day for rookies. We had Brandon Pojim, I think the name is, if I remember how to say it right again, from yesterday. Pojim. He had 7 fantasy points in just 1 minute of play. Are you kidding me? Wow. 1 minute, 7 fantasy points. And how did he do that? It seems impossible. The guy put up 5 shots and scored 8 points on those 5 shots. He had 1 offensive rebound, 1 block, no, 1 steal, and no turnovers. Is that for real? Hold on one sec here, guys, as I pull up the stats on Pozimski. That's his name. Hold on here. Let's have a look. Overview. Let's look at recent games here. Guy plays in, let's see, where are the minutes? Yep. 1 minute and 16 seconds. The guy took 5 freaking shots. What is going on here? What is up with this guy? Brandon Pozimski. That's really interesting. He's a freewheeler, isn't he? He likes to shoot. Very interesting numbers. Let's look at, real quickly, before we move on to other business, I want to look at available players from last night. There was only 2 big performances by free agents. Wait a minute. I got that wrong because I've got rookies selected. Hold on. Let's go to all players. Bismack Biyombo, we talked about him. Big game tonight, last night. Cam Reddish, forward from the Lakers, is a free agent. He played 38 minutes and scored 21 fantasy points. Duncan Robinson of the Miami Heat with 17 points in 39 minutes. Alec Burks of the Detroit Pistons, in real life, 16 fantasy points, 21 minutes. Matt Ryan of the New Orleans Pelicans, 15 fantasy points, 27 minutes. Jacob Gilyard of Memphis with 14 fantasy points in 24 minutes. Kevin Knox of the Detroit Pistons, 13 fantasy points, 24 minutes played. Nicholas Batum is still around. I thought he was going to retire. He's with Philly now, 13 fantasy points, but he played a lot of minutes to get those points, 33. And Matisse Tybuli, I'm not sure how to say that name, but he had 13 fantasy points in 20 minutes. Very solid performance there in terms of production, points per minute. And Torrey Craig, an old veteran, 32-year-old veteran, had 13 fantasy points, 31 minutes. A lot of minutes there to get those points. He is playing with the Bulls right now. So at any rate, those are your top 10 free agents from yesterday's games. And once again, we'll get back over to the standings. As you can see, we have a new leader in the league, but, he doesn't have the most points. That would be the Carolina Copperheads, run by Mark Jones. He took over first place due to the tiebreaker rules, and it's based on head-to-head, and he defeated the Warriors. So Carolina Copperheads for now are number 1 in the league. They have dethroned the San Francisco Warriors for now. The Warriors struggled a little bit compared to what they usually do. I think they threw up about 140 points, but that's still a very solid performance. And this leads me to a big point I have right now that I want to make. I want this to be a minutes-based system, and I talked about it in the last program. I talked about getting a program written to where this league is based on minutes production and not gross statistics. There's only so many minutes in an NBA game, for example. You have 48 minutes per position. So in a fantasy league, often you're getting more minutes than you would get in real life, and that is not realistic. Like I said, there's only so many minutes available at center, only so many minutes available at the 2 forward positions and the 2 guard positions. So basically, the 2 guard positions, you have 96 minutes. You have 96 minutes at forward. You have 48 minutes at center. This is where I want the league to be in the future. And I'm very close to getting a program written that will allow us to move to this system next year. So basically, what will happen is just what I said. Instead of just having the flex position and the 3 forwards, 3 guard situation, it will be 96 minutes available at forward, 96 minutes available at guard, and 48 minutes available at center. You will rank your players at each position, and they will be used. They will enter your box score based on their rankings. And that's how we will derive our fantasy scores. And I've just been doing some preliminary calculations, and what I found was, for example, in this game between the Warriors and the Copperheads, we had, let me see if I can pull up my notes here. Based on the system that would be used, the Copperheads would have scored 132 points in that game. And the Warriors, somehow I have misplaced those numbers, but I will find them. The Warriors basically scored, I came up with 112, if I remember, if memory serves. 114 points. I got it right here. So basically, what happens in a game like that is, I'll just break down the guard numbers for the Warriors. Doncic had 30 minutes. That's what he played. That left 66 minutes at the guard position. Drew Holiday came in, played 31 minutes. That left 35. Beal comes in. He plays 31 minutes, which leaves 4 guard minutes. And then Klay Thompson came in and filled out the final 4 minutes of play. So they played 4 guards. Klay Thompson only playing 4 minutes. At forward, Kevon Looney with 22 minutes play. That left 74 minutes. Holmgren played 31. That left 43 at forward. Zion Williamson played 30. That left 13 minutes. So Obi Toppin comes in. He played 21 minutes in real life. He gets 13 minutes in the fantasy breakdown because that's all that was left at forward. And he scores 4 fantasy points. Basically, what you do is you divide their fantasy points by their minutes played and multiply by the minutes they're going to play for your team. And that only applies to your last guy coming into the rotation that's not playing the full number of minutes that he played in real life. At center, Okongwu went for 24 minutes, and he played the whole 24 because he would be the top-ranked player for the Warriors. And Jaren Jackson comes in off the bench. There's only 24 minutes available at center. Jaren Jackson loses 2 minutes from his real-life stats, and you do the breakdown, and he scores accordingly. So this will produce a more realistic result, and it's also going to change the way the website operates as far as, like, you will still be able to track your team's statistics per week, and I will show you guys how to do that, how to access your weekly statistics. Like, it will be tracked in real time. Each morning you'll be able to go through and see for the game period how your team is doing. But the game calculations will have to be put through the computer program on Mondays, and there will only be 1 game period per week as well. It'll be on Mondays. So we'll take a whole week's worth of games and we'll play 3 games per week. And the numbers will all be put through the program, and then it puts out the result, and then the result will be posted to the website on the message board or on the commissioner messages. I might do it that way as well, and then post, for the archived results, put them on the message board. But this is this is the way it's going to go. It's going to be a minutes-based system because it's going to be realistic. It has to be realistic. I mean, we can't go with gross stats. It's not realistic. And that's what I've always striven for in any fantasy league that I'm running. In basketball, it's always a challenge. It's just a unique type of fantasy game. And this is based on a league that I played in many years ago. They had a computer program, and I really wish I had that program because it was outstanding. They took offensive rebounds into account. They had basically they just ran a simulation, and it produced some great results. And I've been wanting to do something like that forever. And finally, Fantrax offers me a statistical output that allows me to enter statistics into fantasy teams efficiently and easily, with the least amount of time invested to produce the kind of results that I want. And that's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about today. It was just, I've been brainstorming this. We're going to go, we're going to follow through with this season and do what we're doing. But next year, we are going to get to this minutes-based simulation so that we can produce a more realistic result. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I think that's a good enough little bit of information for you guys to digest. I do want to talk a little bit about possible contract lengths in the future as well. Maybe, doing some sort of a salary-based move, where we basically have a salary cap perhaps, so that it makes it more challenging to maintain a roster full of stars. because it might be a little unfair to just let people accumulate superstars and have them on the same team when that wouldn't be realistic in real life as well. It would be a good move to maybe have a cap, but it's something that really needs to be talked about. Fantrax rather does have some options available to us where we could have a salary cap league, and it would use the real life salaries of these players, and each team would have a salary cap set. I would set it higher than the NBA's salary cap, which I believe is around 135 million right now. I would move that for our league to about, I'd probably increase our cap by at least, we have 18 teams. They have 32 teams in the NBA, something like that. So I would give us another 50% of money over the top of that, which would put us around maybe 230 million. And you'd have to stay within those numbers. But again, that is a whole new can of worms. I just wanted to talk about the whole minutes-based system, which I've been working towards for a long time. And it's, I think that's good enough for now. I'm just going to end it here. So I'm going to go down to the beach, I think, today and take advantage of this last little stretch of nice weather in California, in Southern California. November is always beautiful, but then right around Thanksgiving, it kind of cools off a bit. And then we get a burst of nice weather, usually around Christmas. But basically, it's going to start turning towards more, 60-ish degree days. Not so much 70s and 80s on a regular basis. So I want to get a few more nice little bike rides down on the beach when it's warm out at middays. And I think that's a good enough plan. It's my day off, so I'm going to enjoy it. And then a little later, I'll make some more videos too. And I got to make some videos for the program football league, of course. Scoreboard show coming up for you guys in that league, but that'll be a little bit later today, and I'll probably post a few videos on injuries in this league, and maybe just the injuries. Actually, I'll make that real quick hit video on injuries. Yeah, enough rambling. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.